The moment I stepped through the familiar creaking door of my childhood home, I felt the weight of years pressing down on my shoulders, a shroud of memories thickening the air. The walls whispered echoes of laughter, but it was the laughter that had cut me deepest, the kind that turned my passion into a spectacle, my dreams into a punchline. "Can you believe it?" my brother had snickered during that fateful Thanksgiving dinner. The day I first shared my passion for olfactory forensics. Our little psycho thinks she can track ghosts by smell. What's next? Tracing the scent of fairies? That was years ago, before the mayor's child had been vindicated, before I had become the town's biggest joke. I had stood there, red-faced and trembling, as I was publicly humiliated for accusing a well-loved figure of tampering with hazardous chemicals in the park. I'd lost everything that day, my job, my credibility, but that humiliation had ignited a fire within me, an unyielding drive to pursue the path they so ruthlessly mocked. I spent years— "Look who's back!" my sister's voice cut through the air with a razor-like edge. The condescension was thick enough to slice through, but I kept my composure. I had come to deliver a warning, not to beg for acceptance. I set my bag down and pulled out a small glass vial containing a dark liquid, a combination of essences collected from the remnants of my investigations. "I'm not here to argue," I said, my voice steady. "I'm here to show you that the things I've encountered are real, but you have to believe me before it's too late." The laughter erupted, harsh and cutting, a familiar rhythm that felt more like a knife than an embrace. "What will you do next? Start a ghost hunting business? This is ridiculous," my brother exclaimed, rolling his eyes. I took a deep breath, the scent swirling around me like a tempest. "You'll see," I said softly. "You'll all see." The night unfolded, swirling with tension as I prepared my family for the spectacle they would witness. I needed to show them what I had uncovered, to make them see beyond their ridicule and disbelief. I told them about the disappearances linked to the odorous traces, the stories woven into the fabric of our town that they refused to acknowledge. They scoffed, but I could sense an undercurrent of fear, a subtle change in the air. Then, as night deepened, I arranged a demonstration. I had brought with me a tiny portable scent analyzer, a device that could pick up even the faintest traces of otherworldly phenomena. I closed my eyes, focusing on the collected essences swirling in the vial, mixing with the air around us. As the device whirred to life, a low hum filled the room, settling into an ominous cadence. My heart raced, pounding in time with the pulse of the vibrations. The air thickened, and I felt their skepticism begin to crack. A sudden burst of energy erupted from the device. An image flashed across the screen. A swirling maelstrom of spectral forms forming in the air above us. Their faces twisted in expressions of horror as they recognized the familiar features, traces of those who had vanished, faces contorted in despair. "No!" my sister gasped, backing away from the screen, eyes wide with realization. "It can't be!" my brother stammered, disbelief melting into trepidation. And then the house shook as a rancid stench enveloped us, foul like death. Shadows danced across the walls, and the air thickened with the weight of lost souls. I felt the chill seep into my bones, and for the first time, I saw the fear in their eyes, the horror of their own disbelief reflected back at them. "This is what you mocked," I whispered, my voice drowned in the cacophony of the haunting. "This is what I faced. And now it's here." They stumbled back, desperate to escape the terror they had dismissed for far too long. But the scent tightened around them like a noose. The ghostly figures twisted and writhed, reaching out for their long-forgotten memories, their denied truths. As the shadows seemed to close in, I stood resolute, anchored by the horrors I had faced, the truths I had uncovered. I looked at them, not with anger or bitterness, but with a strange sense of peace. "I'm not a disgrace," I said softly, feeling the weight of years lift off my shoulders. I'm a survivor, and you'll have to reckon with that. The horrors receded, but the stench lingered, a painful reminder of their disbelief. I watched as they grappled with the impossible, their laughter choking on the very scent of their mockery. As I turned to leave, feeling the weight of vindication wash over me, I couldn't help but wonder if they would ever understand. Would they ever comprehend the realities I had faced, the darkness I had confronted? Stepping into the night, I inhaled deeply, the cold air mingling with the remnants of fear and triumph. The scent of the forgotten would be my guide, my constant companion. I would continue my work, mapping the horrors others refused to accept, knowing that the shadows carry both the weight of the past and the promise of truth. And as I walked away, I knew that my family would forever live in the shadow of what they had once mocked, a haunting reminder that sometimes the real horror lies in the disbelief we refuse to confront.